All right, let's dive into a story that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. It's all about impossible survival, hidden potential, and how it's all connected to our planet's most feared technology.
So I want to start with a question for you, one that kind of flips our entire understanding of nuclear energy on its head. What if the very thing we all associate with total destruction actually holds the secret to our next great leap forward? It's a wild thought, so let's get into it.
Our story kicks off in one of the most infamous places on Earth, the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Right after the disaster in '86, this huge area was basically declared dead, a toxic ghost town. But, nature had other plans. When scientists finally went back, they found something they couldn't believe. The place was absolutely teeming with life.
And just to give you an idea of how insane this is, get this. The wolves living in Chernobyl today, they're exposed to more than 6 times the legal safety limit of radiation for a human being, and that's every single day of their lives. But here's the kicker. They're not just surviving. They are adapting in ways that seem to just break the rules of biology. And it's not just a Chernobyl thing, not at all. We're seeing this pattern all over the globe. You look at the irradiated waters of Bikini Atoll, and the coral reefs are just flourishing. Near Fukushima, animals have developed these supercharged antioxidant systems. And back at Chernobyl, some frogs have literally changed their color. They've turned black to use melanin as a built-in radiation shield. Life is finding a way everywhere. So, this leads us to the real mystery here. I mean, everything we learned in school tells us that evolution is this slow, gradual process that takes thousands, even millions of years. But what we're seeing in these places is different. It's targeted, it's efficient, and it is incredibly fast. So what on earth is going on? How is this even possible? Well, the answer is a real twist. It turns out this isn't really evolution as we traditionally think of it. These animals aren't painstakingly developing brand new abilities from scratch. No, they're doing something much cooler. They are waking up ancient genetic programs that have been lying dormant in their DNA the whole time. It's not creation, it's activation. So here's the key difference. Instead of waiting around for some lucky, random genetic accident to happen over millennia, these creatures are basically just flipping a switch. They're accessing this pre-installed biological toolkit, one that's designed for survival in exactly these kinds of high radiation environments. It's a super rapid, on-demand response that happens in just a handful of generations. And if you want a really wild example of how advanced this toolkit is, check this out. Deep in the ruins of the Chernobyl reactor, scientists found this black fungus, and it doesn't just resist radiation, it eats it. Seriously. It uses a process called radiosynthesis to turn lethal gamma rays into energy, almost like a plant uses sunlight. It's literally eating radiation for lunch. Okay, but this is where the story gets really weird. When researchers went looking for the origin of these incredible genes, they found them. But they found them in fossils that were 50 million years old. And that just opens up a whole new can of worms and a brand new question. To figure this out, we've got to rewind the clock way, way back. Because long before humanity ever even dreamed of splitting an atom, planet Earth was already a nuclear world. I mean, think about it. Why would a fungus 50 million years ago need genes to handle radiation from nuclear reactors? We certainly weren't around building them. The answer is simple and kind of mind-blowing. Nature did. About 2 billion years ago, the conditions on the young Earth were just right for natural nuclear fission reactors to form, all on their own. And these things ran for hundreds of thousands of years, bathing the planet's earliest, simplest life forms in constant radiation. So life had a very simple choice: adapt or die. And that's where this incredible genetic toolkit comes from. And look, this isn't just some wild theory. Geologists have actually found the evidence. In Gabon, West Africa, they've uncovered the remains of at least 17 of these natural nuclear reactors. Our planet has a nuclear history that's way older and way deeper than our own. Okay, so this is the part of the story where it stops being about wolves and fungi in some faraway place, and it starts being about us. Because that same ancient genetic code, that biological memory forged 2 billion years ago, it's not just in them. It's inside of you too. You can actually see this code being activated in people today. In places with crazy high natural background radiation, like the city of Ramsar in Iran, something amazing is happening. Research shows that the residents there don't just put up with the radiation. Their bodies have actually gotten better at repairing genetic damage.
It's almost like the constant exposure keeps their ancient cellular defenses warmed up and ready to go. The data on this is just stunning. You look at both Ramsar and a place in Brazil called Guarapari, which is famous for its radioactive beaches, and people there are exposed to way higher radiation levels than average, but their cancer rates, they're totally normal. Their bodies have simply adapted by turning on these enhanced DNA repair systems. This kind of makes you rethink our whole history, right? I mean, ancient sites like Göbekli Tepe were built right near huge uranium deposits, so maybe our ancestors weren't afraid of these places. Maybe they were drawn to them, and over thousands of years, they adapted, passing that incredible resilience down through the generations all the way to us. So what does all this mean for our future? If this ancient code, this relic of Earth's nuclear past, is just lying dormant inside all of us, what could happen if we learned how to consciously switch it on? Well, the possibilities go beyond just biology. They might even be quantum. Just imagine it for a second, activating these genes at will. We could boost our own DNA repair, making us more resilient to all sorts of diseases, maybe even aging. It could be the absolute key to long-term space travel, letting us explore and colonize Mars, protected from cosmic rays not by heavy lead shielding, but by our own biology. This line of thinking really pushes us to the cutting edge of science, into a wild new field called quantum biology. And it's all about exploring this idea that life itself uses the bizarre, powerful, and frankly weird rules of the quantum realm to get things done. And believe me, this isn't science fiction. It's happening all around us right now. A little robin navigating its migration uses quantum entanglement in its eyes to literally see the Earth's magnetic field. A plant uses something called quantum superposition to find the absolute most efficient path for sunlight during photosynthesis. Life has been a quantum master for billions of years. And this leads us to the ultimate question. If life is using quantum mechanics for everything from finding its way home to making food, could it also be the source of consciousness itself? The Nobel Prize-winning physicist Sir Roger Penrose certainly thinks so. So the theory goes something like this. Our awareness, our consciousness, isn't just a bunch of neurons firing off signals. It might actually arise from quantum computations happening inside these microscopic little tubes in our brain cells. If this is true, it means our consciousness is a fundamental part of the universe, just temporarily channeled through our biology. Which brings us right back to where we started, in a way. We know we're made of atoms that were forged in the hearts of stars. So maybe this ancient genetic code, this deep resilience to the universe's most powerful forces, maybe even our own consciousness, maybe it's not all just a random accident of evolution. Maybe it's a memory, a blueprint encoded deep in our being. Are we just star stuff, finally waking up and starting to remember where we truly came from?